Hey guys, Max here. Real estate is crazy at an all-time high. It's just a crazy market right now. People have asked, "Oh, are you going to buy a rental property this year?" The answer is no. And here are 6 reasons why I'm not buying a rental property in 2021 and probably for the near future. Reason number 1 is prices are absolutely sky high. I want to show you just a really small example. This is not every single time, but this is how it works out a lot. Look at this. So this is just a random little condominium in a random part of California. It's nothing special. There's not even pictures of the interior. Let me just show you how pricing-wise works though over the time. So 2005, it sold for $147,000, which in California, depending upon the area, it's really not that bad. But the reality is that was the tip top of the market. So we take it to when it was sold next, 2005 to 2009, so just about 4 years, it went from sold for almost $150 to selling for $50. That's literally a 66% sale. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm waiting for that 66% sale. That's an absolute crazy margin of prices there. And with how many forbearances, how many people are delinquent, I think the mortgage crash is coming. It may not happen soon because they keep on injecting more and more money, but prices are super sky high, and you will not see me investing in prices when they're at the absolute tip top, which I think is where we are right now. The question is always, how much higher can it go? And in my estimation, I don't think very much more, but we'll see, right? Reason number 2, everyone else is doing it. Just because someone else is doing it, should you do it? I'd be really curious to see these financials of all these deals people are buying. Is it actually worth my time, or is it something that they're doing because they want to lock the interest rate in? I'm guessing the latter. Don't let other people sway you. Don't let anybody sway you in making financial decisions that you have to reap the benefits or the consequences. It has to make sense financially. I did a video recently on figuring out whether a rental property is right for you. Go check that video out. I will put the link in the description. But you have to make sure the financials are right. If the financials are not right, do not buy just because interest rates are at an all-time low. That is the mortgage industry. That is the real estate agents who want you to buy a home from them because they make money on that commission. So do not take advice from people who have vested interest in you making that purchase. Think soberly about it and figure out, do the financials make sense? If the answer is yes, then you proceed. If the answer is no, forget it. Reason number 3 is there is a huge inventory shortage. But the answer is, why is there an inventory shortage? This Fox Business article shows that there is a all-time price increases as well as inventory. There's been 10 straight months of double-digit price increases. How much longer can that last? That's the question of the hour. But they cautioned the prices are still rising due to the constrained inventory. However, since inventory is still smaller compared to prior years, homes on the market are selling at a faster pace, ultimately cultivating a more competitive market, which pretty much means if you're not an all-cash offer or a really, really sweetheart deal for the seller, they're going to go with somebody else. I've seen people have told me that there have been up to 60 to 75 offers on just one home. That's crazy. Those are people I can pretty much guarantee you buying because the interest rates are right. But the real question is, why is there such a small amount of inventory? And I think it's this, because when the coronavirus was right in front of us and it was all we could think about, it's all we could talk about, it's everything, every single news clipping was about the coronavirus, it made people fearful. When people are fearful, they choose not to make a decision to make the move. Now, with the coronavirus behind us, seeing how 2021 is coming, we're in the middle of 2021, coming to the close, it seems as though that's behind us. When people are in more of a stable position, they think, that move I was going to make that they delayed in 2020, now it's 2021, maybe 2022, they're going to make that decision to put the home on the market. That's when inventory is going to go higher, and that's when prices are going to go lower. Simple supply and demand. As the more people list their homes, the price of those homes goes down. It's not going to be a super insanely competitive environment like it is currently. So I estimate that once the coronavirus scare has totally dissipated, I believe people are going to put their houses on the market in droves, a lot more than we're seeing right now, which will make prices drop a ton. And that is when the smart people get in on the real estate market. Not now when prices are going like this, but when prices are going like this. When people are scared, that's when you buy. When people are all gung-ho about buying, that's when you probably shouldn't buy. If the pack is doing it, if the sheep are all going in the same direction, think about, do the sheep actually know where they're going, or are they just listening to someone who's leading them? The person who's leading them may not have the best interest of the sheep in mind. So don't be a sheep, be a free thinker, and think for yourself. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with someone who would benefit from it. But my question of the day, actually 2 questions of the day. When are you going to buy your next rental property, or your first one? And second off, are you going to wait for 2021 to end, or are you going to buy now because interest rates are right? Comment now. I want to hear what you got to say. Okay, reason number 4 is there a ton of mortgage right now in forbearance, which pretty much means that the people, the mortgage holder, the mortgage payer called the mortgage company and said, hey, I can't make the payment because of the coronavirus. They said, okay, we'll modify your loan, which pretty much means they're going to add months or sometimes years onto the loan depending upon how long they didn't pay the loan. So that just means you're going to have to pay more interest and your mortgage is going to be longer. You still have to pay it back. There's no freebies. There's an uptick reported in mortgage forbearance re-entries. So right now, there are over 2 million homeowners currently in forbearance. And it went down 0.01%, which is 1 basis point. It's still about over 4% of all mortgages right now are in forbearance, which is a lot. That's a lot. Over 2 million homeowners current in forbearance. Many of them won't default. Some of them will default, and then those will be sold onto a short sale, which means that's when you find a really, really good deal in real estate. Or they're just going to sell because they can't afford the payments anymore because of whatever. Situation changed, jobs changed, whatever it may be. The thing is, a lot of those people are going to sell their homes. Again, supply goes up, prices go down. The forbearance is leading me to believe that a lot of those homes are going to go on the market, which means I am waiting until those homes go on the market. Reason 5. Interest rates and mortgage rates aren't going to rise anytime soon. The Federal Reserve has made that very apparent. Here's an article from Bankrate. Will the Fed raise interest rates in 2021? Here's what the experts are saying. I'm very cynical about experts, but sometimes when it comes to the Fed, they have an inside scoop that the normal person does not. The Fed at this point is expecting to keep borrowing costs at rock bottom for at least 2 more years. Yet, experts say the Fed's goal of reviving the outbreak-ravaged economy will only get harder from here, as inflation paranoia mounts and fears of a too-hot economy reverberate all the way to the room where monetary policy is set. So that pretty much means this. Interest rates are not going to go up for at least 2 more years, and they're probably going to extend that because right now the federal government is borrowing so much money to fund these deficits. If the interest rate were to raise just 0.5% or 1%, the whole entire system would go complete bonkers. It just wouldn't work out. They'd have to pay a huge more amount in interest to the bondholders. So the fact of the matter is the Fed is not going to do that to the government because that would stifle a huge part of the economy, pretty much the whole economy. Banking is so much of everything we do is around interest rates, around borrowing, around debt. The fact of the matter is this. Within 24 months, if there's not a real estate crash, that's going to surprise me. So the interest rates that I can get right now, about 3% or so, depending upon what mortgage you go with, you can still get those interest rates within the next 2 months, within the next 2 years. And I'm going to make a really strong prediction and say the Fed's going to extend those rock bottom interest rates going forward. The fact of the matter is if they change those interest rates even a tiny bit, it's going to really take the bottom from the economy, and that's going to make inflation go soaring, which it already is, as well as a huge recession hitting us. So the fact of the matter is either they raise the interest rates or they don't raise the interest rates. One way or another, the real estate prices are going to go down. Okay, and then reason number 6 is, are there going to be more eviction moratoriums? I'm not sure, but the CDC leads me to believe that the answer is yes. The CDC extended its federal moratorium on evictions for non-payment of rent until June 30th. It marks the 3rd time the deadline for lifting the ban has been pushed back. So they've already pushed the ban back 3 times. Do you guys remember 2 weeks to flatten the curve in March 2020? Yeah, I remember that too. Not many do, though. We're now, over a year, almost a year and a half from that. Crazy. It marks the 3rd time they've been lifting the ban much put back. The CDC's order first went into effect in September of 2020 and finally was set to expire at the end of 2020. Obviously, it didn't happen. So whether or not the CDC can constitutionally, as the last little quote here, a federal judge in Ohio ruled that the CDC has overstepped its authority in issuing a nationwide eviction ban. The Department of Justice is appealing a ruling from a federal judge in Texas stating that the federal moratorium on evictions is unconstitutional. Now, I just have a suspicion they're going to extend this again. I don't know what's going to happen, but the fact of the matter is rent is not forgiven. There's a moratorium, so you can't evict somebody for not paying rent. So they stop paying rent. But guess what? Your local property taxes are still due. either once or twice a year, depending on what state you're in. So why is there no moratorium on the property taxes that the owner of the property still has to pay? That's where it doesn't coincide. It does not coincide at all. I bet that the government is going to continue to intervene or attempt to intervene, the CDC, into my personal affairs, which is between me and my tenant. So the fact of the matter is this: until coronavirus is way in the rear view, way out of everyone's mind, I don't plan on touching real estate, because if tenants feel like they have the government behind their back on stopping paying their rent, good luck evicting that person. You're going to have a heap of trouble, depending on what state you're in. If you're in a red state, you probably can evict people. If you're in a blue state, New York or California, oh goodness, you're in trouble. So those are the reasons why I am not buying any rental properties right at the moment. I think interest rates are going to stay really low, and I think over the next 2 years, they're going to stay the same. Within the next 2 years, I think the bottom's going to come from it. I think the bubble is going to burst, which means that's where all the good deals start coming, because the supply becomes in droves. These large banks that have huge portfolios of home mortgages, people are going to become delinquent and then default on those loans. That's when those really good deals in real estate happen. You can borrow a lot of money at a really cheap interest rate and buy the property for a really good price. Remember the example I showed earlier? Sold for about $150, and then 4 years later sold for about $50, $100,000, 66% off sale. That's not every situation, obviously, but a lot of those things are going to happen. I'm gonna be prepared for that. Are you gonna be prepared? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will catch you guys in the next one, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys.